am Sajini Wickramasuriya. Today I am going to discuss two specific questions in 2019 Industrial Law paper. Before moving to the questions, I would like to explain you the types of questions we get in our exams. There are two types of questions, theory questions and problematic questions. In theory questions, we answer like introduction, body, conclusion. In problematic questions, we use IRAC method. That means issue, rule, application, conclusion. Then in LLB we write our opinion as conclusion, but in law college exams we don't write our opinion as conclusion. Yes, when talking about industrial law paper, you have to answer 6 questions only. Question number 1 is compulsory, and you select 4 questions from part 1 including question number 1. Select 2 questions from part 2. Let's take question number 4. Habarana Garments Limited employed Nihal as a sales manager with effect from 1st of February 2019. His employment was subject to a probationary period of 6 months. After Nihal became the sales manager, the sales in the company has increased. Nihal and other employees in the company received performance elements because of the increase in the sales. Nihal had a dispute with the senior manager regarding his political views. The company terminated his services at the end of his probationary period without giving any reason. Nihal wishes to know whether he could seek any relief against termination of his service. Advise Nihal. Yes. Then first of all, you have to identify which lesson this question belongs to. This question belongs to different types of employments. There are 7 types of employments. Among them, this question is based on probation. Then you have to write important things like names of cases in your question paper because it gives more confidence to write answer. Let's start to write answer. First, write what is the issue. In this scenario, the main issue is whether Nihal could seek any relief against the termination of his service or not. Then give brief introduction about probation. Probation is a trial period for the workman who has been recruited as a new workman in the workplace. During the probation period, the employer will assess aptitudes, attitudes, abilities, characteristics and interest of the probation. Employer is the sole judge. During the probationary period, probationer has to work very carefully. Next, you have to write rules. At the end of the probationary period, employer has 3 choices. Confirmation of services if the employee is satisfied. If it not satisfied, termination of his service or extension of probationary period. Yes, Ceylon Cold Stores Limited case held that probationer has trade union rights. Ceylon Ceramic Corporation case, court held that employer could terminate the service of probation even during the probationary period. It's an exceptional situation. In Rupasinghe case, this case is very important. Supreme Court held that if the probationer has satisfactorily completed the probationary period, thereafter the employer has no choice. Then an employer can terminate the probation without giving reasons, but not without having reason. Prior warning should be given during the probationary period. In Hettiarachchi case, court held that there's no automatic confirmation in services. Until the probationer gets a letter of confirmation, he will be treated as a probationer. Yes, in Anderson case, court held that the probationer burden is on the probationer to prove that that mala fee termination and victimization. Then Musaji versus Saya case, court held that the probationer has Court held that the employee is the sole judge to decide whether the service of a probationer is satisfactory or not. In application, you have to apply above legal rules to the scenario. When we apply Rubasingha case to the scenario, Nihal completed his probationary period satisfactorily. Therefore, employer has no choice. An employer can terminate probationer without giving reasons, but not without having reason. According to the given facts, it shows that employer hasn't any reason to terminate Nihal. Here it mentioned that Nihal had a dispute with the senior manager regarding his political views. When applying Anderson case, burden is on Nihal to establish that victimization. As a conclusion, we can say that Nihal will get compensation or reinstatement. Most probably, Nihal will get compensation. That's all. If you answer like this way, you can score 16 marks. Yes, let's move to the question number 2. Colombo Vehicle Clinic Limited provides mobile repair service of vehicles in and around Colombo. The company engages 15 persons as mechanics since the commencement of its business. In 2013, the company provides t-shirts to the mechanics to wear during their working hours. The company provides motorbikes and tools to the mechanics to provide their service to the customers. The company pays 25,000 rupees as retaining fees to each mechanic and an allowance based on the repairs they undertake during the month. According to the agreement between parties, the mechanics cannot delegate their work to any other person. The company treats them as independent contractors. The mechanics wish to know whether they are workmen or independent contractors of the company. Advise them. This question is based on contract of service and contract for service. First, write what is the issue, whether the mechanics are workmen or independent contractors of the company. Then give brief introduction. Contract of employment basically divided into two: contract of service and contract for service. In contract of service, it's an agreement where one person agrees to employ another as employee and the other agrees to serve his employer. An employer can dictate terms about the manner in which the work should be done. A contract for service is an agreement between an employer and independent contractor, such as self-employed person. Master may request what is to be done but cannot dictate. Then you have to write rules. Nature of the contract to identify whether a person is a workman or independent contractor becomes difficult with globalization, changes in employment methods, development in science and technology. So the courts have developed 4 tests to identify them: control test, integration test, multiple test, economic reality test. Yes, then take control test. Events versus Noakes, Bramwell Justice said a servant is a person who is subject to the command of his master as to the manner in which he shall do his work. In the control test, we have to see whether that one person is under the control of another. If it's so, we call him as workman. Then employer can control him by saying what to do, when to do, where to do, how to do. If the skills of workman high, then control is low. Example, hospital owner can't control doctor. In integration test, Jordan and Harrison versus McDonald and Evans, then Justice said that under the integration test, we have to see whether that the person is integrated into the business or organization. Pereira versus Marika Baba Limited, according to the integration test, he is the head cutter of the company. Without him, company cannot be existed. So he is workman. Economic reality test, market investigation versus Minister of Social Security. We have to see whether there's a profit or loss situation. if there's an economic reality, that person is independent contractor. If there's no profit or loss situation, then he is workman. Multiple test, Lord Wright in Montreal versus Montreal Locomotive Works. In many cases, questions only be settled by examining the whole of various elements which constitutes the relationship between the parties. Yes, relationship between the parties. In South Africa, multiple test is called dominant impression test. In UK, multiple test is called mutual obligation test. We have to consider many factors relevant to case and decide whether the person is workman or independent contractor, like if that was an uniform ownership of tools. Independent contractors use own tools, whether he can delegate work to others. In ready-mix concrete case, the most important factor is whether the person can delegate his work to another person. If he can delegate his work to another person, he is an independent contractor. In Selingco Insurance Corporated Limited versus Commissioner of Labour, insurance agent shall not engage himself directly or indirectly in any occupation. Court consider he was an employee. In application, you have to apply above legal rules to the scenario. The company provides t-shirts to the mechanics to wear during their working hours. It shows that company controls the mechanics. We can apply control test. Next week they said the company provides motorbikes and tools to the mechanics to provide their service to the customers. When we apply multiple tests, we can say that the mechanics are not independent contractors. Because independent contractors use their own tools. The company pays 25,000 rupees as retaining fees to each mechanic and allowance based on the repairs they undertake during the month. When we apply economic reality test, there is no loss situation. It also shows that the mechanics are workmen. According to the agreement between the parties, mechanics cannot delegate their work to another person. Selingco Insurance Corporated Limited and ready-mix concrete case held that the person cannot delegate his work to another person. So he is workman. After applying control test, multiple test, economic reality test, as a conclusion we can say that the mechanics are workmen. That's all. If you answer like this way, you can score 16 marks. Thank you so much for joining with me. Have a nice day.